Okay, next question is number 9 from Hey You It's Me Who It's Me. Quite the username. How many people do you know who have actually made the 4-hour work week work for them? I mean, earn the equivalent of a decent salary. So a few explanations are in order first, just to provide some context. The short answer is, literally, this is not an exaggeration, thousands. I mean, the book's been out since 2007. The revised edition came out in 2009, featuring maybe a dozen or 2 dozen case studies in the book, which were all we really had room to expand upon since we added about 100 or 150 pages. If you go to the blog, you can see a lot of the muses, the automated businesses that have been showcased in Muse examples. So on the right-hand side of the blog, just 4-hour blog, FOURHOURBLOG.com. On the right-hand side under topics, you will see Muse examples, and I go into great detail analyzing different types of businesses that readers have created, and some of which are generating 25 grand a month or more. And then on the other side, you have things that are generating 1, 2, 3 grand a month, and just getting started. But the 4-hour work week, like I explained in an earlier question, is based in fact. It was how much time I spent per week managing my company in 2005. Everything was outsourced. I had various different types of service companies, fulfillment companies, QA, hired biochemists, etc., helping me. And I set rules and policies in place so that there were the fewest number of moving pieces, and it was as elegant as possible in terms of steps and whatnot, not unlike Toyota lean manufacturing. The objective of the book is not to get every person to 4 hours necessarily, because many people don't even want to do that. The goal is certainly not idleness, and this is something that I explain in the book. So the title has been a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways. The objective is to improve your per-hour output as much as possible. Once you do that, using 80-20 analysis and so forth, different types of metrics, if you want to, there's a testimonial or a quote from Tim Draper, one of the most famous VCs in the Valley, venture capitalists, and the idea of a 4-hour work week to him is horrifying. It is just anathema to his entire existence. So he said, using this book, something to this effect, using this book you can get 10 times more done in your normal 40-hour work week, which is true. So many people will opt to do that, and that includes many case studies in investment banking, even teachers, for instance. But for me, gaining control of your output and then choosing how to allocate your time, which is your most valuable non-renewable resource, is the objective. Coming back to your question, the answer is still thousands of people. If you go on the blog, there are 30,000 something comments and many, many examples. If you go to the forum for the 4-hour work week, many, many, many examples. There are dozens of blogs out there dedicated to this term lifestyle design that explore different ways of achieving this. Doesn't mean that everyone can do it. No. So there was another question on Reddit that I didn't make it into the top 10, but I'll address it here, which is, what would you say to the person who points out that if everyone did this, the world wouldn't function? Closely related to that is, what about the cab driver? What about the bricklayer? What do you say to them? And the first is really easy. I would say, well, using that argument, you could argue against any business book or book on entrepreneurship being put out there, in effect, because I've helped to create thousands or tens of thousands of jobs. If you look at the last blog post, and I'm not bragging, I'm just pointing out something that's been very incremental over time that is very measurable. If you look at my work with, let's say, Shopify, a startup based out of Canada, and the last 2 competitions that they've run, they've helped build 4,000 companies. And some of them, of course, are bigger than others, but at the same time, I'm helping to build Shopify, and they've been hiring like crazy. In the US, ditto, same thing for the companies I work with. So all that is to say that it doesn't apply to everyone, 4-hour work week that is, but the principles of proper, efficient, and effective work do apply to people, even if they do drive a cab. Does that mean that the cab driver who's employed and has no willingness to, let's say, quit and start his own competing firm or whatever, that person is going to be able to achieve a 4-hour work week magically? No, of course not. And I would never claim that. And if you run into an author who says his book is for everyone and that his method will work for everyone, it's full of shit. And you should not hesitate to call him on it. But I've never claimed that. So the Muse examples, if you want to look at examples, definitely check out Muse examples. There are dozens of really in-depth profiles that look at the manufacturing lessons if they're using hard goods, the key PR wins and takeaways, biggest mistakes made, so forth and so on, inflection points, costs, you name it, cover pretty much all of it. So hopefully that helps, and best of luck in doing that. There's so many good books out there that you can also add on top of mine for that. I think Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson is quite good. I think that if you want to look at books by Semler, S-E-M-L-E-R, Brazilian entrepreneur, who has similar views on work-life balance per se, and how you can take dramatic periods of time off without sacrificing income. In fact, there are a couple of people in the Reddit thread who were working in Fortune 100 companies and been able to cut down 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week. So I would say explore it, and feel free to come to the blog, and if you want to ask questions there, please do. All right, moving on to the next question. That one meandered a bit.